Welcome to the Faith Room. This is a place built for the moments when life feels heavier than you can carry, when your faith feels small and your problems feel big. Every story you'll find here is a reminder that God has never once stopped showing up for His people, and He is not about to stop now. This is your room. Stay with us. This is the story of a woman named Maria. And if you have ever felt completely out of options, completely out of strength, and completely alone, this story is for you. The eviction notice had been on the kitchen table for 3 days. Maria hadn't moved it. She couldn't bring herself to touch it, as if leaving it there meant it wasn't quite real yet. She was a single mother of 2. She had worked 2 jobs for 4 years without a single week off. She tithed when she could. She prayed every night, even when the prayers felt like they were hitting the ceiling and falling back down. And somehow, despite all of it, she was still here. 3 days away from losing the only home her children had ever known. That Tuesday morning, she dropped her kids at school, drove to the grocery store, and stood in the cereal aisle for 11 minutes. She had $43 left in her account. She did the math 3 times in her head. There was no version of the numbers that worked. She put the cereal back. She sat in her car in the parking lot and did something she hadn't done in months. She stopped pretending she was fine. She put her hands on the steering wheel, dropped her head, and she wept. Not the quiet kind. The kind that comes from somewhere so deep, it almost doesn't feel like crying anymore. It feels like breaking. She whispered one sentence. Not a formal prayer, not eloquent, just 5 words. God, I have nothing left. She didn't expect anything to happen. She had stopped expecting things from God a long time ago. She just needed to say it out loud to someone, even if that someone felt very far away. There was a knock on her window. An older woman stood outside. White hair, kind eyes, a grocery bag in each hand. Maria rolled down the window. The woman smiled and said she wasn't sure why, but she felt like she was supposed to come over. She said she had bought too much that morning, way more than she needed, and she asked if Maria might be able to use some of it. Maria tried to say no. The word wouldn't come. She nodded instead. The woman handed her both bags through the window, squeezed her hand once, and walked back toward the store. Maria never got her name. She never saw her again. She looked down at the bags on the passenger seat. There was enough food for 2 weeks. Tucked between a loaf of bread and a carton of eggs was a small card. It had no name on it, just a single line of text. He sees you. Maria sat in that parking lot for a long time, not crying anymore, just still, because something had shifted in the place she thought was completely empty. Not because her problems were solved. The eviction notice was still on the table. The account was still almost empty, but she knew, with a certainty she could not explain, that she was not alone in any of it. 3 weeks later, through a series of events she still cannot fully account for, Maria found a new job, secured emergency housing assistance, and kept her apartment. She will tell you it wasn't luck. She will tell you it started in a parking lot with 5 words and a knock on the window. She will tell you that God heard her before she finished asking. And maybe that is exactly what God wanted you to remember today. Psalm 34:18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. If you are sitting in your own parking lot right now, maybe not a real one, but that place inside where everything feels impossible and the silence feels louder than it should, hear this. God has not forgotten you. He has not looked away. He has not grown tired of your situation. The same God who sent a stranger to knock on Maria's window knows exactly where you are today, and He is already moving in ways you cannot yet see. Hold on. Keep praying. Keep believing, even when the believing feels small. Faith does not need to be big to be real. It just needs to be honest. 5 words were enough for Maria. Yours will be enough too. If this story touched your heart today, please give this video a like. It helps more people find their way to the Faith Room when they need it most. Subscribe so you never miss a story, because every week we come back with another reminder that God is still writing beautiful things out of broken moments. Leave a comment below and tell us where you are in your journey. This community prays for one another, and your story matters here. This is the Faith Room, and we are so glad you are in it.